All right, we're going to do a quick refresher lesson on how to find slope today. So just to refresh how to find the slope, that's the slope formula. So anytime we are looking for slope, we're going to use the letter M. M is always what we use for slope. And the slope formula is going to be M is equal to, and we're going to have y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So basically, the way to think about that is the change in x's, or change in y's, I should say, on top, and the change in x's on bottom. Now, if we're having positive slope is always going to move up as you move from left to right. Negative slope always moves down as you move from left to right. And we always read a graph from left to right, so if it's positive, it's going up. If it's negative, it's going down. Zero slope, of course, is right in the middle because zero is neither positive nor negative, so it is just going to be horizontal straight across. And the equation for that is y equals a number. And undefined slope is going to be straight up and down, like that. The equation for that is going to be x equals a number. So anytime you see x equaling a number, that's a straight up and down equation. So the way we find each slope, the way we find slope from a graph is we look for friendly points. Friendly points are those points that cross through grid lines. So like we have a friendly point here, 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 and here. And all we have to do to figure out our slope from a graph is to count up the spaces. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then you go right 1. So up 3, and to the right 1 means I'm going positive 3 and positive 1, and 3 over 1 simplifies just to 3. So the slope of that graph would be 3. The slope between negative 2, 7 and 4, 2, the way we find that is our slope formula. So remember that's y2 minus y1. So we label these x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we can do our formula. Do 2 minus 7 on top, 4 minus negative 2, which is the same thing as 4 plus 2 on the bottom. So 2 minus 7 is negative 5, 4 plus 2 is 6. And negative 5 over 6 doesn't simplify, so we're just going to leave it as that. That is our slope, negative 5 over 6. So this next one, m equals, we're going to do x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to do 7 minus 7 on top, and 3 minus negative 2 is the same thing as plus 2 on the bottom. 7 minus 7 is 0, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 0 divided by anything is 0. So our slope is 0, so this would be a horizontal line. And then this one, again, x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to do 1 minus 7 on top and negative 2 plus 2 on bottom because it's minus and negative. Anytime you subtract negative, it's like adding a positive. So 1 minus 7 is negative 6. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Anytime we divide by 0, you can't. Don't do it. It breaks the internet, tears a hole in the space-time continuum. So we say that is undefined. All right. So that would be a vertical line there. Parallel slopes. The way parallel slopes work, if you think about it, we got parallel lines. And so anytime we have parallel slopes are congruent. So those are always the same. M is equal to M every time. All right. So no matter what our parallel lines look like, if they're parallel, the slopes will be the same. Perpendicular slopes, those lines do intersect, but they intersect in a way, a very special way. They form a 90-degree angle when they intersect. All right, and perpendicular slopes, those are going to be opposite and reciprocal. So opposite reciprocal. So the opposite reciprocal is always going to flip from negative to positive, and it's going to flip from like 2 over 1 to 1 over 2, or 1 over 5 to 5 over 1. So opposite and reciprocal. And any other type of slope that does not form a 90 degrees, so different slopes, basically. Different slopes that aren't opposite reciprocal, so that aren't perpendicular. We'll say aren't op-recip. Those would just form intersecting lines. So as long as the slopes are different, that means if the slopes are the same, they're going to be parallel. So if the slopes are different, then we got to look to see if they're opposite reciprocals. Most of the cases, almost probably 90% of the cases of intersecting lines will be different slopes. And they will be neither intersecting nor parallel. All right, slopes of AB and CD here. So we got to find the slopes of AB. So that's going to be -1 minus 2 over -1 minus 0. -1 minus 2 is -3. -1 minus 0 is -1, which simplifies to 3. Anything in negative divided by negative is a positive. So then the second one, CD, that's going to be 3 minus 1 on top, and it will be -3 minus 3 on bottom, and 3 minus 1 is 2. -3 minus 3 is -6, and that simplifies further to -1 over 3. So when you compare 3 and -1/3, those are obviously not parallel, they're not the same, they are different, and we need to look to see if they're opposite reciprocal. So we have 3 on top, 3 over 1 here that's positive, right? 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1, and for CD, that's going to be negative, and it's 1 over 3. So those are opposite reciprocals. So therefore, we have perpendicular slopes. All right, that's it for these notes. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or a Canvas message. Have a great day.